and welcome to Sundry Weekend News. We'll begin with sports. Start in Cowboys Wire, brought to you by USA Today. Cowboys News, breaking down Kellen Moore, trading Tank away? Trading Tank... This is how I read this last time. Trading Tank, way to a Super Bowl? And I already clicked on this the other day. And no, I do not believe that trading DeMarcus Lawrence away would be a good thing. Despite a new coaching staff, an abundance of fresh faces on the roster, and a shortened training camp and preseason, the Cowboys still have solid depth, solid stock. 2021 mock draft. Who cares? A tight end, quarterback, and safety walk into a Cowboys bar. The NFL season has a very different look to it in 2020, so there is no harm in looking ahead in attempts to picture the hopefully back to normal way of life. COVID-19 tracker. Players on Cowboys' 2020 schedule who opt out or test positive. I don't know why they equate those two. Not equate, but why do they put them together? Because testing positive doesn't mean that you're out of the season, because you only have to stay quarantined for 2 weeks. And if you're asymptomatic, they shouldn't be forcing people to quarantine anyway. It's just ridiculous. The NFL is facing quite the unprecedented year. Protocols. Excuse me, I'm just so tired of this. Protocols have been set in place to launch a safe and effective training camp. However, no matter how hard you try, things will happen. And that is the sort of viewpoint that I wish the world would go back to embracing, because we had an entire world of people who would go out every day and drive cars or just walk down the street, go to work. You know, no matter how hard you try, you can't really be perfectly safe doing anything, because you could die doing anything. And yet now, everything we do is dictated by fear. And it's irrational fear, because it's a fear of a disease that kills less than 1% of the people that get it. And if you take out the elderly and people who already have deadly diseases already, then it's an even smaller chance. It's like no chance at all. And yet, we live our lives based on fear now. Except for some people. Some people have to live their lives based on needing to keep their job or needing to not go to jail, which is why we all have to wear masks, even though it does nothing, and it's an illusion of safety, and it makes me feel like I'm going insane, because it's really the whole world that's insane. But if the whole world is insane, and you're the only sane person, then basically you are the insane person, and that's just fucking maddening. Tough guy and I. Cowboys rookie edge to torn Utah production into pro career. Turn. God damn. Oh, my eyes aren't working for me. Ugh. Cowboys rookie edge to turn Utah production into pro career. If there is one player from the Dallas Cowboys 2020 draft class that has a chance to make an immediate impact and outperform where they... something. I'm guessing you're going to say that it's this guy. Anai. His first name is Bradley, I think? Bradley Anai? Does that sound right? Vori. Work from home in comfort. Shop the Ponto Pant. What does that even mean? Is it Italian? What does it mean? Under pressure. Cowboys Prescott and Dalton, born in it and molded by it. Well, sometimes folding to it. In the case of Dak, I don't... Oh, sorry. I don't really know Dalton's history very well. Sibling rivalry. Cowboys rookie cornerback Trevon Diggs sharpened offseason skills versus brother Stephon. Very good. That's good. Cowboys news. COVID opt-outs, roster dropouts, blah, blah, blah. Stephen Jones, Cowboys Super Bowl would create more value for Prescott's new deal. Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but I'm hoping, I think this sounds like, and I'm hoping what he's saying is that, Dak needs to give us something before we give him anything else. He was a little too high and mighty. He turned down a great deal. So now he needs to prove himself. I hope that's what Stephen Jones is saying, because that is how it should be. Francis Bernard has chance to go from undrafted free agent to Cowboys linebacker rotation. I guess, is there a little bit of room, since they've said that Sean Lee is going to be in mostly a supporting role this season? Cowboys still richest sports franchise in the history of Earth. Good. God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. Although, not really. But at least that's one thing that hasn't changed. Now we have the Cowboys Wire from today, August 2nd. And it starts with the same top story, which is the same news that I clicked on the other day. Prescott number 1 in 2016 redraft. Cowboys Elliott drops out of top 10. So you imagined a new draft from 2016 and put Prescott at number 1. Whatever. I think Elliott should be number 1. Not even in the top 10? That's ridiculous. The 2016 NFL Draft will always be memorable for Dallas Cowboys fans. It was the first time the Cowboys picked in the top 5 since some time. I'm so sorry. How rude of me. I should really start pausing it when I start to yawn, because these are big yawns. COVID-19 ends Cowboys kicker competition before it starts. Forbath released. Dallas Cowboys 2020 kicking competition was over before it even began. After struggling through a season and a half of Brett Maher missing more... Okay. Missing more than 1 out of every 4 field goal attempts, it appeared the club was ready to let the best kicker win, as they had not 1 but 2 kickers with resumes entering the season. Maher had been anointed as Dan Bailey's successor when it came to Cowboys kicking duties, but 10 misses in 13 games led to his release in December 2019. The team signed Kai Forbath, who hit all 10 of his field goals and all 10 extra points, and then promptly resigned with the team back in March. The team then raised the ante, signing former Los Angeles Rams kicker Greg Zuerlein in the spring, leading many to think there was going to be true competition for the role based on camp performance, but it will not be. Forbath was released on Saturday. Re-signed. Promptly re-signed with the team back in March. Yeah, that's the exact same spelling as resigned. I think there should be a dash between the re and the signed. Okay, so we still had Forbath, and then they signed Greg Zuerlein, but now Forbath has been released. A tweet from John Machota. The Cowboys have released kicker Kai Forbath, who was 10 for 10 on his field goal attempts last season after signing with Dallas in December. Former Rams kicker Greg Zuerlein signed a 3-year, $7.5 million deal with the Cowboys in March. The job is his. Forbath was expected to compete for the starting role with Zuerlein, who signed a $7.5 million deal with the Cowboys in March. Now he hits the free agent market with a $137,500 signing bonus as a consolation prize. As the only kicker currently on the roster, is Zuerlein's job going forward, and he has a pretty solid resume. The best stretch of his career was from 2016 to 2018, when he made 84 out of 93 field goal attempts. In 2017, he earned his only Pro Bowl and All-Pro nods. Since entering the NFL in 2012, Zuerlein has hit on 201 out of 245 field goal attempts, 82%. However, he only connected on a 72.7% clip in 2019, which was the second lowest of his career. That's why many assumed the team would wait to make sure Zuerlein was all the way back before releasing Forbath. But the NFL's COVID-19 roster rules mandate teams be down to 80 players before camp practices start on August 17th. That is such bullshit. What a stupid fucking rule. One reason for optimism about the Zuerlein signing is it reunites him with the Cowboys' new special teams coordinator, John Fassel, who was hired in January. The Cowboys are hoping a fresh start and 8 years of familiarity with an old coach can get Zuerlein back to being Greg the Leg like before. Forbath has been an accurate place kicker over the last 4 seasons, nailing 89.9% of his kicks across stints with 4 different organizations. His downfall, though, is that his leg isn't very powerful, and that hinders him on kickoffs. Wait. Didn't Maher didn't he just set a couple of records 2 seasons ago? Or last season? I feel like he set a distance record. Am I wrong? Am I remembering wrong? At least for a distance record for the Cowboys, maybe? I want to say it was 56 yards. Over the same stretch, he's had touchbacks on just 52.3% of his kickoffs. His career percentage is under 40%. Okay, I guess if you're talking about the kickoffs. Meanwhile, Zuerlein has touchbacks on 73.7% of his kickoffs over the last 4 seasons. The Cowboys could use less forced-on-them drama on special teams, especially considering how potent their offense should be. Limiting return opportunities may be a key component. Alrighty. That was on the last one. Mock draft for 2021, yes. Cowboys News 2020 breakout candidates. Refs may struggle out box with no help. That sounds new. Why did they bury it down here? It's from August 1st, from yesterday. Why? Whoever is responsible for organizing the headlines on the Cowboys Wire emails needs to be fired. The NFL was ready to implement serious changes in the way on-field officials communicated with the replay officials, but without a preseason to test, the league has ended that experiment before it got started. Aha. Another reason why it would have been nice if the Players Association weren't a bunch of fucking douchebags. The Dallas Cowboys have a chance to have one of the best records in the league in 2020, but it could depend on a few players having their breakout seasons. 2 players to watch who could become household names include safety Xavier Woods and cornerback Chidobe Awuzie. You spelled that wrong. Another young corner, Trayvon Diggs, spent the summer competing with his all-pro brother, and many are placing high expectations on the Alabama product. Plus, the latest from Stephen Jones regarding the future of Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Expanded booth-to-official communication nixed for 2020. The NFL was ready to test expanded booth-to-official communication this upcoming season, but with no preseason to test things out, the league has chosen to wait to implement these new technologies. No preseason along with no camp visits, so the refs can warm up before the regular season? Yikes. What did I fucking say? The preseason has value. I didn't even know about this, that they were going to test some new stuff, but the Players Association really screwed things. That's really annoying. Stephen Jones. Cowboys Super Bowl would create more value for Prescott's new deal. Many believe that the Cowboys' inability to sign Dak Prescott is not the Cowboys' inability. It was Dak Prescott's inability to accept anything. Sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal this offseason points to Prescott not being Dallas' quarterback of the future. Stephen Jones recently voiced his opinions on the matter, and Jones believes just the opposite. Really. 20 questions. Which players are primed for a big season? Michael Gallup, that's yes, probably. Xavier Woods and Chidobe Awuzie are all massively important to the Cowboys' success in 2020. But which one is most likely to break out and become a Pro Bowl level player? Oh. Well, with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup might be held back a touch. So, good question. The Cowboys staff writers debate the biggest breakout candidate heading into the season. And since we still have Amari Cooper, and now CeeDee Lamb, yeah. Every NFL franchise's best team of the Super Bowl era. One of Cowboys' 90s teams cracks all-time list. CBS Sports determined the best team ever for each NFL franchise. The Cowboys have 5 Super Bowl winning teams to choose from. Follow the link above to find out which Dallas roster made the cut. Is this the kind of stuff they do every summer? Or is this summer special because of the huge dearth of interesting news? Cowboys still richest sports franchise in the history of Earth. 5 years ago, the Cowboys became the most valuable sports franchise in the world, and they haven't looked back. Only 5 years ago? Forbes ranked the most valuable sports teams, and the Cowboys were first again, and by $500 million this year. Very good. Cowboys season preview, projecting floor and ceiling for 2020 record. The Cowboys had one of the best offenses in football a year ago, and an average defense, but that shouldn't add up to an 8-8 record. One of the best offenses? And I take offense at your average defense. That's not entirely true. NFL Network previews all the aspects of the Cowboys' upcoming season, including a best-case scenario projection and a worst-case scenario projection. A tweet from Dallas Cowboys. Views from the Star in Frisco as Dallas Cowboys make visible changes. Why? Why do you have to show people this? Is this not depressing for everybody? It should be. It's fucking depressing. Sibling rivalry. Cowboys rookie cornerback Trevon Diggs sharpened offseason skills versus brother Stephon. Without a traditional offseason, it has been harder for NFL players to get their regular training regimen in. All the more reason why a preseason would have been nice. Luckily for rookie Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs, he and his Pro Bowl brother Stephon Diggs have used each other to improve their skills this summer. Mailbag. Configuring a COVID-19 practice squad? In the latest edition of Mailbag, Cowboys staff writer stated, are we allowed to have practice squads? With the whole 80 cut down before even training camp thing? I know the roster has to be 80, but that's usually after training camp. So are we sure practice squad is allowed? Cowboys staff writers David Hellman and Johnny L. Ping do their best to answer fan questions. This edition's questions revolve around how teams will use the practice squad in this unique season, and does Devin Smith have the best shot at becoming the 4th Cowboy wide receiver? Francis Bernard has a chance to go from undrafted free agent to Cowboys linebacker rotation. The Cowboys wire player profiles continue as Francis Bernard is up and has a legitimate shot to shoot up the linebacker depth chart. Cowboys rook Tyler Biadasz speaks on concrete message, camp safety, injury. The rookie center dives into Mike McCarthy's message to the 2020 Cowboys team, addresses his past injury, and claims he's 100%. Okay. Moving on. Tough Guy and I. Cowboys still richest sports franchise. sibling rivalry, and under pressure. Nothing else new. Alrighty, that's it for Cowboys Wire. Now we shall move on to the news.